Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for attending tonight and viewing tonight's work session for the Sierra Vista City Council for August 9th, 2022. I'll start by saying happy birthday to my baby sister, Sonia.
Oh, happy birthday.
Her birthday's today. I won't tell you how old, because I'm in fear of my life if I share that, but she's significantly younger than I am, I'll tell you that.
Can I add in then, happy anniversary to my parents. It's 42 years for them.
Great.
Oh,
Congratulations then. Well,
said it wouldn't last.
yeah, all righty. Okay, so now, since the important stuff's over with, we'll go to item number 2 is a presentation and discussion. And the first item on the presentation discussion is the 11th August 2022 council meeting. And of course, we always start with call to order at 5 o'clock. Roll call. The invocation by Reverend Youngblood this time. Pledge by Ms. Humphrey. And then we do the acceptance of the agenda and the city manager's report. So, Mr. Patuchik, have you got anything you want to share with us tonight?
Well, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, as I shared this morning, we did get the sales tax report for June last night, and that was up 6.5%. If you'll recall, we were a little negative the month before, so got a little bit of a bounce back there. We'll just continue to monitor that closely. Normally, we would have a CCOM meeting. Sheriff is not going to be able to make that on Thursday, so that has been rescheduled for the 18th. And then we're hoping to see the Avenida Escuelas extension behind Walmart finished by the end of the month, weather permitting, of course. So I'm sure I'll have a couple other things by Thursday then.
Thank you. I forgot to mention, too, that we have our newest councilwoman to be, Ms. Mesmer, today. So thank you very much for being here with us today and starting to do some of the work for the good people of Sierra Vista. So I appreciate you being here. Okay, let's see. Item number 2 is the consent agenda. We have the possible action for council meeting minutes for a regular and 2 special city council meetings. Any questions, discussion, comments on those first 3 on the consent agenda? Seeing none, we go down to
Shouldn't we have a 4th on here for the
That's
first?
right.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm getting to the 4th. I'm doing the 3 that are similar. I was asking then. I'll get the point 4 in a minute, because that may engender some more questions. We have a 28 July meeting. We had a 3 August meeting and a 4 August meeting. Right? Did we miss a meeting in there somewhere?
No,
The
we're
first
good.
one, the minutes were on the 28th of
Okay.
July meeting, so they have been approved already.
Okay.
Because she's really fast when she puts them together.
We're
So-
good, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So we didn't miss one.
Didn't
That's
miss
what I
one,
want to
I'm sorry.
make sure we didn't miss one. Any questions on those? The first 2.1 through 2.3 on the agenda?
No.
Okay. Next is a 2.4, discussion of possible action designating Mr. Felix as the chief financial as the person authorized to sign and submit the city's annual expenditure limitation. Chuck, you want to address that?
Yeah, I'll go
or-
ahead and address it. Mr. Mayor, members of the council, you probably remember that you did this at your last meeting.
I do remember.
And it also deals with 2.5 as well, which is on the next
and
page.
basically, when we went back, the Attorney General didn't think what we did met whatever forms and requirements they had to have. So this is just a cleanup of that. So it's a very simple thing, but kind of silly. But nonetheless, that's the way they want it. So
We're meeting the legal requirement.
That's
It's not
correct.
silly. Anytime you meet a legal requirement, prevents you from being sued, so it's not a silly thing, Chuck.
I guess.
Yeah, I guess. Okay. I'm not gonna argue.
Anyway, now we're doing it the correct way. So,
Okay. Any other questions on those 2 items? Okay. The next item is a public hearing item, and it's the liquor license, Mrs. Adams.
So in a theme here, this is also deja vu. You approved this liquor license and ownership and location transfer in May for a location at 964 East Fry. And since then, they have decided they want to move down to the west end into the old karaoke bar. So they have to go through the process all over again for a location transfer. The notice of the public hearing was posted on the facility. We have received no comments. The background was redone, and there are still no objections by the police department for approval. And if approved on Thursday, it will go up to the state for final action, and I understand they are ready to open down there.
Okay, well, hopefully the state is on the job. Any other comments or questions
Well,
about this
I'm
item?
gonna, we're all gonna get asked if they're gonna have karaoke.
That I do not know, but I'll find out.
Fill that void over there. Okay, thank you.
We won't approve it?
Any other comments or
It
questions?
won't make a
No,
difference.
so the process, they originally just bought the license from the karaoke place. They were gonna start their bar next to Bone Dry.
Yeah.
Now they decided to not do that, they're gonna go use the license back to the original location at the International Karaoke Bar under a new name, Mama, Tell
That
Mama?
is correct.
Yes.
Tell mom.
Tell Mama.
Yeah.
Yeah, anytime you relocate these or change ownership, you have to
Right.
go through the
I'm
application
assuming
process and the
before
public
it was
hearing.
just the license, but now it's actually they're also gonna take the business part of it, I'm saying. I know we don't vote on that part, but,
Well, they did a ownership and a location transfer up near Bone Dry.
right?
Now they're just doing a flat-out location back to where it was before.
All right. Okay, everybody clear, perfectly clear?
Sir.
Okay.
Right on.
All right, then, no other questions on that one. We'll now go to item number 4, and Victoria's gonna fill in for Ms. Delahaye. Victoria.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. So this is the final step in your budget process. So we had the public hearing for the property tax levy at your last meeting. This is the adoption of the property tax levy for fiscal year 2023. And as a quick reminder, it sets your property tax levy rate at 0.1098 cents per $100 of assessed value, which translates to $10.98 per $100,000 worth of value on a property. And the rate was adjusted slightly lower due to increase in valuation of homes, so anybody with a home will pay the same amount this year as they did last year. And I'd be happy to take any questions.
Yeah, I think we're pretty clear on this as well.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Okay.
Jennifer did a good job of explaining last time.
She does do a good job. Okay, so thank you very much. Next item will be the vote on the selection of the new council member, Mrs. Mesmer. And the way that will go, just so everybody knows, we'll vote. We'll bring the issue up, second the issue, offer to discuss, make comments by the council, then we'll call for the vote. Once the vote is called for, we'll ask Ms. Mesmer to come forward, and please bring any family members or folks that would like to come support you. They're welcome to come to the meeting, and the clerk will swear you in, and then you'll join us up here on the dais. And I'll tell the council people, if you want to move seats, you need to move seats before the council meeting, so she knows where she's sitting. And then we'll get the nameplate up, and we'll go to comments and requests of the council. And Ms. Mesmer, I don't know if you've seen the agenda, but basically you'll go before me, so next to last on comments, if you want to have prepared comments on your first night here, or not have prepared comments, it's up to you. And then we do the adjournment. Any questions on the council meeting? Okay. So that concludes the first item on the agenda. Next item is report and recent trips, meetings and future meetings. I did attend the League of Cities and Towns. They gave us a rundown on a number of the things going on in the legislature. I think the important things to realize is the league got a lot of the things killed that needed to be killed, and a lot of things passed that are going to benefit us in the future. As we look toward the future, our key message is when they looked at the elections and the primaries, the more moderate Republicans and the more moderate Democrats were basically defeated in a lot of the primaries. So there's no real understanding that there's going to be a lot of compromise in the next legislative session between the Republicans and the Democrats. And they feel that the Republicans are still going to hold a slight edge in both houses, so we'd have a Republican speaker and a Republican president of the Senate. But again, we're talking slim margins and probably not cooperating on a lot of issues. So that doesn't bode well for the next 2 years. And that last part is my opinion. Let's see, what else did we talk about? One of the things that I brought up that they didn't mention was the recent bill that deals with the WIFA, which is the Water Infrastructure Planning or Financing Authority, which was a good bill. And I had a great conversation with Representative Griffin on Saturday when she called. We spent a good half hour talking about WIFA. And the old WIFA, what they did is they had basically loans available to cities for water infrastructure and projects. And it was basically a loan that had to be paid back. And it was supposed to be geared toward the smaller cities and towns. However, in most cases, just like our case, paying back the loan over a long period of time didn't make a lot of sense, especially when we could go to other federal agencies or work with private folks to get water infrastructure built. And they've reworked that. So now that WIFA for the projects we would look at for water is going to be a grant where 75% is going to be paid by the state, 25% would be by the entity. And based on her conversation, and I didn't see this in my reading material that I had on it, she basically says that yes, we can get our friends like Fort Huachuca or the Land and Water Trust or the Nature Conservancy to pay for our 25% of that grant. So that's an ongoing effort. She also said there were things in the bill that I hadn't seen that dealt with allowing. Well, once a city has a program, for example, to replace turf in yards or retire private pool use or that kind of thing, that they would be able to go to the WIFA fund as well and take out a certain amount of money to manage those programs. So that's something that's worth looking at in the future. And again, that legislation probably isn't going to be in effect for another 60 days. So we have time to look at that and see what affects us. And of course, our challenge now is with the projects that are going on with CCRN and the Sentinel Landscapes, as well as I'm forgetting the old one, Chuck. We have a meeting tomorrow.
Oh, partnership.
The partnership, the Upper San Pedro Partnership, the challenge we have with those is, as we look at the projects, the cost of per acre feet is going up, and the number of acre feet we get from projects is diminishing. So the lower hanging fruit has been picked, and the cost is only going to go up and up as we go through this. So it's good that the WIFA has changed their program so that we'll have another source where we can go to if we can't get federal money or other funds. So well, that's something we need to continue to watch as we go forward. So anybody else?
Yeah, well, one of the PAC meeting was canceled, but there's still the admin one.
Yeah,
The one I have to go to was canceled. I noticed that. Yesterday.
If there's no business, the chairman doesn't conduct a meeting.
So there's no.
Yeah, he's smart. He's a smart guy.
That is smart. Yeah, don't do that. The West End The West End Commission had a meeting last night, and one of our strategic plan items to roll out a program for neighborhoods, any neighborhood, not just the West End, but it's going to be called Adopt a Neighborhood Program, and I think it's similar to our Adopt a Event or an Area program. And they went over the draft, and they're going to make some tweaks, and then it's going to launch in like September.
Well, they're making recommendations to
Yeah.
the council?
No, so
Or are they doing it on their own, which is no go?
no, so that's a Matt question, I think.
Matt, what's
Free
the
to
story?
speak. Okay. So yes, staff has drafted a proposal that we presented to the West End Commission for feedback. This year's budget has $25,000 to implement the council's strategic plan objective, which is to broaden out our West Sierra Vista Partnership Program to include a neighborhood grant type program. However, as Councilmember Humphrey mentioned, this would be a citywide focus. And so, of course, we'll be glad to share our proposal with the amendments that were suggested by the West End Commission before formal launch. I don't see a reason why we can't stand it up in the next, 30 to 45 days.
Okay. So we need to be briefed. The whole point is the council needs to be a little better briefed on what's going on. We do.
It's hot off the press.
We do appreciate the good work of the West End Commission and their comments, and hopefully it'll make the program better. I'm sure it will.
Yes, and I think, yeah, that's all I had.
Okay. Anybody else?
No, sir.
Okay. Future discussion items and council requests. And Victoria, have you got a list of things coming up?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Same as last meeting, your legislative update from Tri-Advocates is scheduled for August 23rd. They're going to go over legislation that was passed that is of interest to the city of Sierra Vista and what they kind of forecast for next year. And then, as I mentioned last time too, I'm doing my best to get the commission report done for you by the first meeting of September, which is actually the 6th, not the 13th, I think I said
Okay.
last meeting.
And at some point in time, we need to make sure Chuck's got a week to review his evaluation before we have a meeting, but we'll be putting, we've got to sit down with Chuck and give him his annual evaluation in a work session, or in a executive session too, so that's coming up. Anything else that's on everybody's mind that we need to look at again here real quick?
Well, just the commissions are coming up. I mean, we've been needing to talk about that, obviously.
Yep.
There seems to be already be some changes that were pushed out saying that we're not meeting every month anymore, which is a change.
I haven't heard that.
All right, so that came from somewhere. Change to quarterly meetings for some commissions.
Well,
So things like that, we gotta figure out where that's coming from.
yeah, okay. We need to look and see what the standard is. Is it quarterly or is it monthly for the,
The change was made to the
or
handbook.
not least, at least once monthly, I think is what it says.
It's
No,
at least quarterly.
At least once quarterly, which means they can meet more than that if they have
If
the
needed, right.
workload.
Okay.
I think that's what I remember. Okay. So that's a clarification. We need to make sure if our commissions and our folks working on commissions are confused, we need to get that out there. Anything else for, okay. And I know everybody, we got the league coming up here at the end of the month too. I hope everybody's gonna go to the league meetings because that's always productive. Future discussion items and council requests. Okay, well, that's a quick meeting here, only 25 minutes. So seeing nothing else before us, hope to see everybody and their smiling faces on Thursday. Meeting's adjourned.